Robinhood shares rocketing 28% higher this week as Wall Street poured money into stocks on election night. The company saw historic volume from investors at 11 times the typical overnight volume. So joining us now is Robinhood Chief Brokerage Officer Steve Quirk. Steve, it's great to have you back on the show. That's exactly where I want to start with you. The fact that we saw this explosion of trading on election night, and that benefited Robinhood. Walk me through it.
Sure. Well, I think in addition to the winners that we saw election evening, if you talk to our 24 million customers, they would picture themselves as winners because this is the first cycle where they have been able to either capitalize or hedge a portfolio in the equity markets. We rolled out 24-hour trading about 2 years ago in equities, in addition to the crypto market, which already trades 24 hours. And of course, we rolled out prediction markets a week before the election. So they really had multiple ways to be able to either capitalize or look at the probabilities of wins for each candidate and then adjust their portfolios accordingly or take advantage of opportunities that they saw there. So I think it's this cycle is something that was quite unique for them.
We had Thomas Peterffy of Interactive Brokers on earlier this week. They have a prediction markets product as well, and we talked a little bit about that. And he seems to be very bullish on where those products, those offerings are headed over the next, call it, decade, 15 years. He says he thinks this could actually become bigger than the equity markets in terms of the business opportunity there. What did you see, especially since you only launched it so close to the election? What did you see in the prediction markets? How accurate were they versus the outcome of the elections? And how much traction do you think this can now gain as an offering on the Robinhood platform?
Yeah, what we saw in the evening and in the week up to the election is 500 million contracts traded. So there's strong demand for event contracts in ways. I would call this almost an institutional product that is now available for retail to be able to, as I said, capitalize or hedge a portfolio. And I think the future is pretty bright there. We saw that those heavy volumes, they sort of exacerbated as we got closer and closer to results coming in. About 7 p.m., we started to see the difference in the contract. In other words, the contract started indicating that they thought that there was a indication there would be a winner. And as a result of that, you saw all the other markets moving. And that was, in advance of swing states being called. So I think for a retail trader, this is an amazing instrument for them to be able to protect portfolios or capitalize. And I would anticipate, as he had said, that we would see a lot more growth here.
So if I do look at equities, specific stocks that were most active in terms of trading volumes and appetite from your retail clientele, what were they?
Well, I think the one that we saw a very large spike in volume on right out of the gate, as soon as I said 7 p.m., we started to see it right out of the gate, was Tesla. Anticipation that this would be very positive for them. And if you look at where it's settled, and I know you've had people on talking about it over the course of the week, it's much higher than where it was at that point. Also, DJT, NVIDIA, there's a lot of belief in the tech sector in general, and a lot of optimism around that. And then on the crypto side as well, even the individual securities, in addition to the crypto, native crypto trading, which we had, which was a huge week and evening as well.